Hey guys, in today's video we're going to do another map style video focused around Manchester and talk about some of the popular amenities and things you might want to know if you're considering moving to the Queen City. So first thing we're going to do is start off on Elm Street, and we've talked about this in different videos. I've also done some driving tours of Elm Street to give you kind of a real world perspective of what it looks like. As of right now, where the camera is actually situated here, you're a little bit closer to the north end of Manchester. So if we went straight ahead in this direction, you'd be heading towards Webster Street. Whereas in the opposite direction here, you're heading to downtown Manchester. And as you can see from the taller buildings, really the heart of downtown. So what we're going to do is I'm going to bring us right back up here. And all of those brick buildings off to the right-hand side, a little bit more low income rentals. You know, it's probably not the most desirable area to live. Just behind it, you can see you'll have Canal Street down there. You have a lot of businesses along the actual river there. But as we go in this direction, that's where you'll find a lot of the multifamilies. So there's a lot of rentals right at the edge there, getting close to Elm Street. Now we're going to bring us right back over to Bridge Street. And I'm going to drop us right here. And let's just take a look at this. Alright, so you can see this is heading in Elm Street straight ahead there. We'd remain on Elm. Now, if we go in this direction, that would bring us onto Bridge Street. And Bridge Street, as I've mentioned in previous videos, eventually intersects with Mammoth Road. And that's when you start to get into a nicer part of the city. Now back in the other direction, that would bring you towards North Elm into the north end of Manchester. This is a pretty popular apartment complex here. Rentals there are usually going to be somewhere in that. You might be able to find a one bedroom around 14 to 16, but for the most part, those are going to be over $2,000 a month. And then this would bring you, as you can see, West Bridge Street over into the west side of Manchester. And then you also see here, that's a Wall Street Tower. That's actually a penthouse on the top that I don't recall what the price was, but it was extremely high. There was an indoor garden up there. But you can actually, I don't know if they rent these units, but I do know you can purchase them. And then if we were to continue across there onto the west side of Manchester, you would see a lot of mill buildings lining the Merrimack River there. And then as you go further into the west side, you know, you have a lot of housing options. Eventually it works its way out into, like Dunbarton, Penardsville, and Goffstown. Also, Catholic Medical Center is right across the bridge there. If we went across, took a left-hand turn, you're just a few minutes from CMC, which is one of the biggest hospitals in the actual city. Now, let's go along here a little bit further down Elm Street. I'm going to show you the first point of interest here would be City Hall. So if you're coming to register your car, just so you know where that would be. Or anything else. I mean, you could be going there for a number of reasons. And I think we just passed, so YMCA is actually right here too. So in case you're looking for a gym in the area, it is this building right here. So that's YMCA of Manchester. There's also another, that's a gym that's throughout the southern New Hampshire area. There's multiple locations there. Now we'll keep going straight here. Let's see. I think we'll have to drop us a little further. The building's actually right over here. You can see. So I'll bring us over here first. You can see Manchester City Hall. And I'll drop us on this side. So there's really two entrances to go in. This would be more so the back entrance. So you can go in right through this door. And then if we were to go through, I don't know if it's going to let us go through there, but you could see, now this is kind of a combination. You'll have some residential living over here, but then you're also going to have a mix of some businesses. Like some of these brick buildings over here will be a combination. And then I'll bring us over to the other side of these buildings here, as you can see. This would be the kind of the front entrance for City Hall. All right, and you can see right over here. So you've got this entrance as well. And that would go, you'd go directly in there. You'll see all different offices. You can register your car in there. I recommend doing it online after the first time. So once you initially register a car, you have to actually physically go in person, but afterwards you can, do it all online. And you can see that there is a tunnel that connects here indoor right across into this building. So it's pretty large. There's quite a bit going on there. And then you can see that Elm Street is just over here. So you can actually walk right through there if you wanted to have access back to it. As far as parking goes, you'll have metered parking in some of these areas on the main strip here, like Market Street. But right here in front of the building, you wouldn't have to pay here, but I think there is a time limit. And then if you go over here, you can see that there's this little passage to get right through. A little too far. Right here. You can go straight through here to get back to the other side, and there's also some parking over there as well. So let's pop out of here, and I'll bring us over to another destination that you might be visiting if you're living in Manchester. Formerly known as the Verizon Wireless Arena, now it's the SNHU Arena, and that is right off of Elm Street here, and as you can see, it's this big building right here. Now, we used to have the Manchester Monarchs, which played there, which was a hockey team. As far as I'm aware, they don't play here any longer. But you can see they hold a lot of things here. So, monster trucks come here. You'll see different performances. You also have a lot of the graduations that happen here for the high schools. So it's a pretty popular spot. And usually when you drive by, you'll see different, performances and acts that are coming into the city. They'll be shown here. You could also go on the website and look as well. Now, there was a newer hotel that was now I don't know when this was actually taken. I believe this is a new hotel that is fully constructed at this point, but this must be an older kind of picture or video when they took this here. And then just before we move a little bit further, if we continued going straight here, that's Granite Street, and that's also another way that you could get into the west side of Manchester. And I'll actually show you, because it is one spot that you might use quite a bit if you're coming from downtown and heading in that direction. Okay, so if we go down here, I'm actually going to show you the Fisher Cats Arena as well. It's a minor league baseball team, so this is Granite Street over here. And now if we make our way in this direction, you'll see it. Delta Dental Stadium is right over here. So they've got the little roundabout, and they've got a hotel right in front there. It actually has some rooms that overlook the stadium, and you can see it right there. So Northeast Delta Dental Stadium, hotel right there. This is the little roundabout right when you're entering. And these are a lot of the old mill buildings in that direction there, as the Merrimack River is just behind this tree line there. As far as rental options in this area, there are some places over here along the river. So this is a pretty nice spot. See over here you have let's see if we can drop down, get into this development. So I can't get in there right now, but those are some options. You also have this walking bridge that goes right across the Merrimack into the west side of Manchester. But we'll bring us back over to Granite Street here. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So right over here. And actually you can see this is West High School's football field here, their turf field. It's got the track around it, and then you can see West High School is right here. So it's actually relatively close to the river. And then I'll drop us right around, let's go about here. So I've mentioned in a few videos 2nd Street. Now 2nd Street, although it's on the west side of Manchester, it does eventually transition out towards Bedford. That would be out in that direction over there. So you can see, if we might be able to see by the sign up here. So you can see that it says Queen City Ave. So you have the Queen City Bridge over here. Now you can see right above it 2nd Street. You'd have to go out in that direction past this restaurant here. And then over here is South Main Street, and this is West Manchester. So right now we are technically on the west side because we've crossed the bridge. And then if we went in this direction, you'd kind of start to get into the heart of the west side. The high school, West High School, is just off to the right-hand side. And then what I'm going to do is bring us over. It'll be quicker than me trying to just click us through there. We'll stay along the river. And then you can see the bridge here. So let's drop right over here. And you're going to see 2nd Street straight ahead over in this direction. So this is what I'm referring to when I say that you're in the west side now. And if you were to turn right there, that brings you back in the direction we just came from. If you were to go straight, that gives you an option to, one, get into the west side or stay on the west side, just going in a different direction. And two, if you continue going straight and then take a left-hand turn, that would bring you out towards Bedford. That would be Boynton. So I've referred to Boynton Street a few times in different videos. That's where you would, get direct access to that. This is the bridge that brings you back over towards Elm Street. So this brings you over towards the south end of Elm, basically where Elm comes to an end pretty much after the bridge. Now, we won't go too much further down here because if we wanted to look at some of the more popular retailers, we technically would be going into Bedford. But I'll show you that they would just be out in this direction. So let's go a little bit further out so you can see. But you would have to continue on 2nd Street in that direction there. Now, if we go back over here across the bridge, all right, you could see right over here, we're going to get back up to Elm Street, and I'll show you exactly where that point is. Okay, so I'm going to drop us right here at the corner of Elm, and then also Queen City Ave. You can see that this would technically be the south tip of Elm over here. Now, it basically, that Elm Street ends right over here. You can kind of see it in the distance. There's a lot of housing, like rentals in that area over off to the right-hand side. And then off to the left would provide you access over to Califf Road. And then if you wanted to get over to Brown Ave and towards the airport, you would have some access over there too. Now, straight ahead would bring you back towards the heart of downtown. This is Elm Street here. And then if we went in this direction over here, I'll bring us back up a bit, but this would bring us over towards South Willow Street. Now, coming over here, we'd stay on Queen City Ave, and then it kind of loops around right here, and then you've got right here, you've got South Willow Street in this direction, and then it becomes Willow Street over here. And then as far as South Beach Street, which I've referred to in some videos, would be in this direction over here. So I'll drop us so you can take a look at that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to put us over here, right as we're coming off of Queen City Ave, so you can see how that looks. You basically have the option to continue going straight here onto Scilly Road, or if you if you bear right there, you can get onto South Willow Street. So we're technically on South Willow now. And then, like I said, Willow Street is over in this direction. And this is really when you start to get into the heart of a lot of the chain restaurants. You have car dealerships, a lot of shopping centers, grocery stores. The Mall of New Hampshire is in this direction, which we'll take a look at as well. But let's get back up above here so you can see the aerial view. It's when you get to that set of lights, and you can see there's a lot of residential housing off to the side here when you get off the main strip. You've got South Beach Street running in this direction, which would bring you out towards Brown Ave. And then we'll continue on South Willow here. I'm going to put us a little bit further down. So we'll drop over here, and you just get kind of a look of it as far as what the layout is. You'll see gas station over here. Now, the reason I dropped us in this particular spot is that the Manchester DMV is right over here. So if you can see on the sign, we'll see if it... Right over here, you'll see on the sign, New Hampshire Division of Motor Vehicles. Now, it's directly straight ahead. And this building's actually been vacant for a long time. This used to be, I believe it was Shaw's. Let me drop us over here a little bit further. Actually, a really good small grocery store here called A Market. This building here. A little bit pricey, but they have a lot of good organic foods. It's a smaller version of Whole Foods, basically. Now, this is the building. It's still vacant, but this used to be Shaw's right here. This particular building right there. It's a huge space. And actually, this is a really, really old picture because this is no longer in business. You can see the whole parking lot is for that particular business. Now, over here is where the DMV is located. And it's technically on the first and second floor of this building. So it'd be right here. And then it goes upstairs as well. They also have parking in the rear. And then they also have an entrance back there too. So you basically would just go around here, take a right-hand turn, and then you'd be in the back. And a lot of the times the driving test, if you're trying to get your license, that's held in this particular location. You drive around here. They probably have you do some parking in the back of the building. Now let's hop back up to the aerial view and let's continue on South Willow Street. Now I'm going to show you this shopping center here, which is a little bit newer. South Willow is a pretty established area. Now you can see that they've done some building here. In the back, you see Ashley's Furniture. You know, you got a lot of retailers here. It's a lot of strip malls in this particular location. There's a Home Depot in the back there. I actually brought us a little bit too far, but this is the newest addition to South Willow Street, which is right over here. So I want to drop us so it's right there. So it's this strip right here. And you can see it's called The Shops. And it's a lot more filled in at this point. I don't know if this whole entire board is filled with businesses, but they have quite a bit in there at this point. I think the entire front of the building is leased out. So there's the front here that has maybe 6 to 8 businesses facing the street. I believe all of those are completely leased at this point. Okay, so we're going to continue going down South Willow here. And I'm going to just periodically drop us down here so you can kind of see what it looks like. And you can also refer to the video that I made on South Willow, which would really give you a better view of it. There's a Hannaford's down here. It also provides access to the Supercenter Walmart if we were to take a left at that set of lights down there. You're also going to see a lot of car dealerships. This will bring you to some hotels that are located right along the highway over there. And then you could also have access to the Supercenter Walmart if you take a right-hand turn here as well. So bringing you down here, you pass, another car dealership. Mercedes-Benz is down there. And then straight ahead, you would have access to the highway. So you have access to 293 here. You're also going to have access to 101 West. And then vice versa, you have access on the left-hand side too. We'll go up there a little bit further so you can see. And it's just one lane going right there. It's 2 lanes going left in this direction. So let's go a little bit further so you can see the sign. And you'll see that it says right here. Now, if you were going to go right, that would bring you out towards Bedford over here. Brings you out towards Bedford. Nice little sunset here. So Bedford. You could also get out towards Goffstown, New Boston, a lot of those areas. This is also one way. It's kind of odd, but you could go this way and it would redirect you towards Nashua. So if you're trying to access the Everett Turnpike, that is one option as well. And then if we were to turn left here, you can see right here, so 293 and then 101 east in this direction. Now, if we were to go onto the highway here and we go down in this direction, just past this sign, you can't see it, but it splits to the left. That would be 93 north. And then if we split to the right, it brings us to 93 south. So 293 doesn't go that far. 293 basically wraps around Manchester if you were to look on a map. And you can actually see right in the distance, this is the Mall of New Hampshire. And they've started to put a lot of new shops in there, one of them being Dick's. There's a Dave & Buster's in there. There's a bunch of other places too, but they're always starting to add some new shops and new restaurants in there. So let's go over. I'm going to pull us back up and we'll go to the main entrance. Now, there's a few entrances to the Mall of New Hampshire, but we'll look at the main one. And you can see, let's pan out here for a second so you can see the actual size. So all of this is the Mall of New Hampshire here. And I'll show you both entrances. So this is one entrance to get in. You can see they used to have the really old mall sign. It looks like it might still be up there now. In this particular picture, you can see where Dave & Buster's is right there. Red Robin's over there. There's a lot of different places in this mall. So this is one entrance to go in and out. And this is directly across the street from a bunch of restaurants and car dealerships, This is actually one of the more popular areas for car dealerships. There's about maybe 2 or 3 right here, about 3. And then if you were to go down that street and wrap around, you'd have Nissan, Honda, and Toyota over there as well. And then Mazda is a little bit further down. You'll actually see that when we get down here to the second entrance. Now, directly across from this second entrance is Barnes & Nobles. Okay, so I'm going to drop us down to the second entrance into the mall here. And you can see right over here. So this is actually the old sign. I'm not sure if that old one is still up. I know they were replacing it. So this is the other entrance to go in. You can go this way, and then there's exits right over here too. You also have this popular restaurant, Masa Steakhouse. Barnes & Nobles is right here. The trees are kind of blocking it. Anyways, it's right behind these trees. Big Barnes & Nobles, nice place. You got Vitamin Shop here. You also have this gas station that is relatively new. Within the past 3 years, they put this one in here, which is nice. Pretty convenient location right on the corner there. It's owned by the Common Man. If you look on their website, you'll find that they own a ton of places in New Hampshire, places right off the highway, rest stops. I think there's a couple in Londonderry. So they also have some food in there too. Now, we're going to head over towards the airport, but first, I'm going to show you one of the main locations for the post office. And there is multiple places you could go, but I'm going to show you the Highland Goss Falls Road one. You've got a Bob's Discount Furniture right off to the right-hand side. They used to have a candy shop in there, at least when I was younger they did. There's an Olive Garden here. Mazda's over here. This used to be Planet Fitness for anyone that's interested in some gyms. And I know I haven't covered a bunch of them, but it is now located across the street in this building. You have a Chunky's over here. You have Planet Fitness directly across the street. This would be Hughes Road. And then you also have a hotel right over there to the right-hand side. And the reason why it's a little bit nicer to stay over here is you're closer to the airport. And we'll go over there too so you can take a look at where that is in terms of proximity. Now, we're going to stay right here. So this was Hughes Road. Right here was South Willow. We're going to go across. That's where that gas station was over here. Right over here. That's the Barnes & Nobles, that big building. Now, you're going to have some more car dealerships in the back here. Like I said, a lot of car dealerships. This is the post office over here, so let's drop us down so you can see. This is the one I go to the most, this location here. And like I mentioned, it's Gosfald Road. And then if we go back in this direction, we have a CarMax over here too. You could see some of these are some of the dealerships, the other dealerships that you'd access from the other street over here. Right here is BMW straight ahead, and then off to the left is CarMax over here. And actually, a little fun fact, this particular location right here used to be Walmart back in the day. So before there was a supercenter in Manchester, this was actually the traditional Walmart. And the building used to be right over here. So when you would go into the actual building here, there was parking along the side, the parking in the back over here, and then all of this was the actual building. It was a big one too. It was a pretty good sized Walmart, but then they ultimately put in the Supercenter Walmart. Now we're going to head back onto South Willow here. You can see this is where it breaks. So South Willow continues to the left there. Now if you remember, I did a video on plane spotting. This is the Triangle Plaza that I shot one of the spots from. It was right here at the end. And then this is actually the runway over here that you see in the distance. So let me drop us right over here. We'll split off kind of to the right. I'll put us right back here so you can see what that looks like. So off to the right, you've got one of the fire stations here in Manchester. You've got Perimeter Road, which is right here, that goes around the airport on this side. And then this would be South Willow Street continuing over in that direction. Now, we're not going to follow Perimeter Road because that goes, it's kind of the long way around the airport. And I'll pan out so you can see. So the airport's over here, right over here. This is Perimeter Road right here. So you can see it takes a hard right and then it loops around in the back here. And then I'll follow it so we can actually take a look at where it comes out. because that'll bring us to the front of the airport where we want to go. Now over here brings us to the four-way intersection, and then if you take a left here, brings you out towards the front of the airport. Now I'm going to drop us at this intersection so you can see, because if we were to continue going straight out onto Brown Ave, that would bring us towards Litchfield, which is a really nice area, right out in that direction. And then this would have been another option to get to the airport here, which is Brown Ave. And that'll bring us back towards the Supercenter Walmart. It'll bring us back towards South Willow. You could also access downtown that way. This is the actual airport over here. And now this is where we just came from on Perimeter Road. Now, if we were to go left, this is going to bring us to the main entrance of the airport. Now, you'll see right here, off to the right is the Executive Health Club right here. And then this is the roundabout at the airport. Now, it can get a little confusing if you're not from the area. And let me pan out so you can see. If we go right here, so if you take the first exit, it'll bring you out in this direction to another roundabout. And then if you were to continue going straight at that roundabout, it brings you over here, which if we were to take a right at that set of lights, it'll bring you down towards Brown Ave again, so where we were just looking at. Whereas if you continue going straight, you could have access to two options. You could go back to 293, or you could have access to the Everett Turnpike if you wanted to head down towards Nashua. So that's one option. And then if we take a left, it's a really nice road that takes you around the back side of the airport. So there's a couple ways you could go if you decided to go through these roundabouts instead of entering the airport. So you don't necessarily have to take this street and go to the airport. You can actually use these roundabouts to cut through to different parts of Manchester or access certain highways. So let me drop us right here so you can see. And this is that first roundabout, just after we pass the Executive. And you can see you have options to go right, you wrap all the way around, and then this is where we just came from, over here. Perimeter Road was in the back over there. Now, this is the front, but if you were to go around it and you took the last exit, that obviously brings you right to the main entrance of the airport here. And you see Manchester-Boston Regional Airport. And then I'll bring us over towards the actual terminals here so you can see. Very, very easy airport to navigate. I have a video driving tour in this area too, so if you wanted to see it a little more in depth. You've got the parking garage over here. You've got cell phone lot right over here. And then let's drop us in the front here so you can see. So right over here, you can see it's all starting off to the right. Got entrances to all the different airlines. So right now we currently have Southwest, United, American. Also have Spirit, which is a newer addition within the past, I think, 1 or 2 years. And then Avelo, which will be coming in June. And they're going to have only one route to start, and that's going to be a direct flight from Manchester to Raleigh, North Carolina. So you can see that they're all right off to the right-hand side. And this is pretty much what it would be like on a daily basis. They're a little bit, strict as far as the parking goes here. So, if you're dropping someone off, you have to be relatively quick. But it's usually not that busy, and they always do have a police officer out here too. But that gives you a pretty good overview here of the actual airport. Check out my video that I did if you want to see it a little bit more in depth. So we're going to get back out of here and get back to that initial roundabout we just were on. And then let's go back this way. So Perimeter Road off to the right. This would bring us back over towards Brown Ave here if we would have went straight at that set of lights. And let's go over here. I'll show you a pretty popular spot right about here. A lot of industrial buildings in this particular area off to the left-hand side as you get closer to the river. You've got the Airport Diner right here, which is a pretty popular spot right there. There's also the Red Arrow, which I think is open a bit later. That's in downtown Manchester. They also have, I think, a location in Derry. You see it straight ahead. You've also got a hotel here. And then if we were to continue going straight here, like I said, it provides access to the highway. You also could access, downtown Manchester, but I'll show you where the Supercenter Walmart actually is located. Even though I said I wasn't going to show you, I'll show you. We're going to go under the highway here. And then we're going to go up to South Beach Street here. And then let me pan out. We don't need to necessarily see all these cut-through streets here. But it's right over here. Just about in this direction. So you can see the big building right here. This should be it. I'll just drop us right in the front so you can see. So basically you come down Gold Street, provide you access. So this is the Supercenter Walmart. Got grocery down here, and then you've got 293 right in this direction, so the highway is running right over there. All right, so let's jump back up here. And we're only minutes from South Willow Street. South Willow Street, as far as proximity, is right. Let me pan out a little bit, make it easier. South Willow is right back up here. So one of the things I didn't show you that I would like to show you if we head in that direction would be Central High School. I also want to show you Memorial High School, so let's do that as well. So we're going to have to go back past the Mall of New Hampshire. I'll show you the Chunkies. I know I mentioned that before with the Planet Fitness. So you see Chunkies right here. And then this is Planet Fitness right over here. It's a nice newer building. And the hotel straight across. Told you Mazda was over there. And then we're going to hop back onto Hughes Road, which is this street here. And we'll head to Memorial. This is all the Mall of New Hampshire right here. So that parking goes all the way to this tree line. And then just past the tree line is Hughes Road. So we'll continue going up here. We'll go over the highway. And then we're going to work our way to the left. And then we're going to go over to Memorial here. All right, so you can see it. We'll give you an aerial view first. So you can see we got the tennis courts up here. The high school's here. And then you've got the turf field right here. And then you've also got Southside Middle School here. And then you've also got Jewett Street School over here. So you've got an elementary school, a middle school, and a high school all in this vicinity. Now there's also Green Acres Elementary School and McLaughlin Middle School, which are only about maybe 5 minutes from here. I won't show them in this video, but there's a lot of options. And these are some of the better schools in this particular location. All right, so I'll pan around. You can see a lot of just residential homes right on the street. This is the front of the high school here. This would be the main entrance. And then if we were to go straight down on South Porter Street, take a right, that would bring you back over towards South Willow Street. And tennis courts are right up here. So let's head over to Central High School now. All right, so right now we are above Central High School. Now, aside from Memorial High School and then West High School, which you saw on the west side of Manchester, this is really in the heart of downtown. So you could see, older building for sure. It's been around a long time. I believe this would be the main entrance here. I actually didn't attend Central High School, but right here is the main entrance. You'd also have some back entrances over there. So this is really where you'd be going to school if you lived in downtown Manchester, towards closer to Elm Street. And then the last thing I'll show you is going to be Dairyfield Country Club. So if you're a golfer, there's a lot of golf courses around here you could choose from, but this is going to be right in Manchester, so it's very convenient if you're living in the area. You could see over here Dairyfield Park, which is right off of Bridge Street, and this is that particular location. I'll show you. We'll drop down here that I talk about in a lot of my videos where Bridge Street transitions into Wellington Road. If you continue going straight here across Mammoth, it brings you out towards Hooksett. This is Trinity High School. It's one of the better private schools in the area. And I'm going to drop us right here at the intersection of Mammoth Road and Bridge Street. So you'll see it right here. So this is bridge running this way. Straight ahead is Mammoth. And then in that direction, eventually brings you out towards Wellington Road. And the highway access is right over here. A lot of nice developments down there. So here is Mammoth Road. Trinity was back over here. And the golf course is over here. So it's an 18-hole golf course. I believe it's still owned by the city. The rates are actually quite reasonable. You can play, they do have a twilight rate. So if you wanted to play after, sometimes it's 5 p.m., 6 p.m. for about $20 around there. And then I think it's about $40 for 18. And then maybe about 20, 25 or so around there for 9 holes. Now, I used to play this course a lot growing up, so I'm very, very familiar with it. I could actually tell you every single hole here, but I don't want to bore you if you're not into golf, but just to give you kind of a quick look at it. You got the fire station off to the right-hand side here. And let me drop us here so we don't have to keep going so slowly. That was the fire station off to the right there, as you can see. This hole here is actually number 9 coming down towards the road. This is number 10 going up. And then you have 11 over here. You also have 18 right over here. And then this is number 1 right by the clubhouse, which is right here, which is what I'm going to show you. And it's also nice if you don't golf because they have a bar there. They have a deck in the back. It's a very popular spot during the summer. So you can see the building right here. Nice deck in the back overlooking the course. And then this is a little practice putting and chipping green here, which they actually do keep in really good shape. Another nice facility if you want to practice golfing is Hidden Creek, which is out in Litchfield. It's back over towards the airport when I had pointed out Brown Ave. It's in that vicinity. But let's head back over here. All right, so we're going to go over by Elliott Hospital now. And as you can see, the golf course is just over here. And we're going to be heading on Mammoth Road over towards the south end of Manchester. Now, if we continue going in this direction, you will see one of the baseball fields over here. It's East Little League. And I'm actually going to drop us right over here so that you can take a look at this area. All right, so off to the left-hand side, you can see here right off of Terrytown Road is the playground, the baseball fields over here. There's 3 fields, and this is the clubhouse. Very popular area, especially during the season for baseball. And then if we continue going straight, this is going to be the hospital. So here's Elliott Hospital right over here. A lot of buildings associated with it, kind of all around here. There's buildings over here, over in this direction. But I'll drop us towards the front entrance. You can see, in addition to Catholic Medical Center, this is actually the other most popular or largest hospital in the city. There's a lot of other hospitals in the state, but specifically in Manchester. So you can see this is Elliott Hospital right here. And I don't think we actually looked at CMC closely. So before I end the video, I'm going to bring us back over there. And instead of trying to scroll our way back over there, I'm going to just search it. And then it's going to bring us over there. You can see it brought us directly across to the west side. And just so you get an understanding of where we are, okay, so I just dropped us here on the west side. And if I'm going in this direction here, this is Bridge Street over in that direction. So West Bridge, you just go across the Merrimack River. You come across here to McGregor Street. And these are all the old mill buildings. And these are the ones that have the lofts in them. And on the back side here, you can't really see them, but there's a lot more options if you were to continue going behind this one right here in front of us. And then you got the bank here. It looks like a pretty nice area. As you get a little bit further into the west side, it's not as desirable. There's also a Planet Fitness over here as well. There's quite a bit in this direction. So there's not a lack of amenities here. There's still plenty of things to choose from. Now you can see in the distance, this is Catholic Medical Center right here. And I will just drop us in front of it. Give you an aerial view too. So here you go. This building right here. And they do have a tunnel here, an indoor tunnel or bridge, if you want to call it, that brings you over here. I think there's additional parking. And this is the front of Catholic Medical Center now. But basically, if we were to continue on this street right here, on McGregor, it would bring us back in the direction that we were initially. So when we were looking at the SNHU Arena there on Elm Street, that's one of the ways we could get back to that section of Manchester on Granite Street there. Or if we went in this direction, it would bring us out towards the north end of Manchester if we just continued going and we didn't go back across the bridge. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. There's a bunch of things I could have included in this video, but just for the sake of time, I wanted to kind of pinpoint some of the more popular spots and things that you would want to know if you're going to be moving to Manchester. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.